Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, and as you guessed it, I am officially 21 weeks pregnant today. So freaking crazy. It feels like it was just like yesterday that we found out. Not really, because morning sickness kind of dried out for a while, but it doesn't feel like it's been that long, and I'm like over halfway there. Now I know I haven't done a pregnancy update, I think, since I was 18 weeks, so it's been about 3 weeks since my last update. There hasn't been like a whole lot going on, but I just want to come on and give an update. So we found out what we were having. We were having a little boy, and his name will be Levi Roman James, plus our last name. Which I don't feel the need to put our last name out on the internet. But Levi is a name that I have just liked for years. Honestly, I don't even remember when was the first time I heard it. I've liked it since like middle school. Roman is a name that my husband picked out, and even he said he doesn't know where he came up with it. He just said he's always liked it. And then James was my maiden name, so I wanted him to have that, and it's going to be his second middle name. But yeah, we're pretty excited. It's pretty crazy. And here's a picture from the ultrasound. Look at that. We can get it to focus. He definitely has his daddy's high forehead. And my mom thinks he has my nose. I think it's too soon to tell. I can't really tell in the photo, but definitely has my husband's high forehead. And then it was really cute while the ultrasound was being done. We seen they kind of poke you a lot to like get the baby to move around, at least they did with me. And there was a part where he was doing this and sucking his thumb, and he had like the L shape. What are you doing in there? It was cute, and it was so great that my husband got to be there for that since he wasn't able to come to my first ultrasound. So that was really exciting, and I loved watching him watch the ultrasound. I think it just made it all the more real for my husband, you know. One thing I do have to note for anybody out there who is going to be having an ultrasound done soon for the gender scan or what have you, anatomy scan, whatever you want to call it. And they tell you to drink like, I think it was 38 ounces of water. I think it was 32, 34, something like that, which I drank all of the water, but my bladder was so full, it was causing the baby to curl up into a ball, and she couldn't get a good image. So like halfway through the ultrasound, she had me go empty my bladder. Personally, I think we got better shots during the first ultrasound when I was 10 weeks. It was the dating scan to find out exactly how long I was. And I had an empty bladder for that one. Sorry, somebody outside. Sounds like they're trying to race. So yeah, I feel like we got a better scan done the first go around with me having an empty bladder. So what I wish I would have done would have been to drink something sweet to get him moving. And other than that, not worried about it. Like maybe a 16-ounce bottle of something sweet. Like some people suggest orange juice or what have you. So I just kind of want to go over some things that have been going on since my last pregnancy update. I had a really strange thing happen when we were getting our taxes done. I ended up getting like an anxiety attack. And I've never had that in my entire life. And there was no reason for me to feel anxious while having our taxes done. I worked this year, my husband worked this year. There was no reason for me to feel anxious, but I just had this feeling like we were going to owe a ton of money, which I've never personally owed a bunch of money at the end of tax season. My husband has, and there's been a few times where I'll have gotten back, and this was before we got married, but I would get back like $1,000 or something on my refund, and he would owe $800, and so my money would go to cover what he owed. Other than that, I feel like I always break even. That's what I tell him, and I know it kind of frustrates him that I say that because, you know, it's tax money. It's not like you're winning the lottery or something. But I feel like I haven't had this money all year, and sometimes I'll get back from federal and I'll owe state. And a lot of times what I owe state is the amount that I'm getting back for federal. And I'm like, well, at least one will cover the other. That's just kind of my feeling on it. Breaking even is what I call it. But I had well, it's the only anxiety attack I've ever had in my life, but it really freaked me out. It made me feel like I couldn't breathe. It made me feel panicky. It just made me feel really agitated, and it was not fun. I feel bad for anyone out there who deals with anxiety on a regular basis after that. Like, I never really understood anxiety before because I've never had an anxiety attack, but that was not fun to say the least. I did not enjoy that. Again, not really sure what brought that on because I have no reason to feel like that. And the accountant that we go to, I have known her my whole life. My parents went to her while I was growing up, and I really like her and I know her pretty well. Outside of her just being an accountant, I know her. And so there was no reason for me to feel so anxious. I mean, I knew the accountant and I knew everything was going to be good, but I just had this overwhelming sense of anxiety come over me and just, it wasn't any fun. Next one, and I feel like this is kind of subsiding a bit, but I was really easily irritated and grumpy there for like a week or two. I'm guessing it was hormones. That would make sense because I was getting really hot again, and during the first trimester when I was having hot flashes all the time, I was really irritable. Granted, this time I don't feel like I was as grumpy, and I also wasn't having as bad of hot flashes, but I feel like those kind of go hand in hand apparently, and I was just really, everything was irritating me pretty much. I have here in my little list of notes of everything that's kind of been going on, more exhaustion. This week I feel pretty good, but a week or two back I felt like I was tired all the time and constantly needed a nap. But I feel pretty good again. I think I've been getting better sleep. I feel like he has moved, like maybe my uterus has ascended a little bit higher because I can get comfortable and go to sleep again, whereas a week or so back, I could not get comfortable for the life of me. I was up half the night tossing and turning and rolling around. I have ordered a maternity pillow. I will do a full review on that once I get it. But yeah, just a few weeks ago, I was just so uncomfortable. I was getting zero sleep. That was probably adding into me being grumpy as well. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm not as exhausted anymore because I'm getting sleep again. Back pain. I had really bad back pain for a few weeks. It was horrible. I wasn't really sure what was going on. It was like right in the middle of my back. I asked my doctor. She's like, you know, it's just part of pregnancy. You're gonna have aches and pains. But it was really uncomfortable. And then my husband, God love him, he gave me a back massage that I swear lasted at least an hour and a half, if not 2 hours. And I have not had near the back pain that I was having since that massage a week and a half ago. So he's got some magic fingers going on. As for cravings, I haven't really had any cravings lately. I still enjoy my fried pickles, but that's just because I like fried pickles. I haven't really had any cravings other than pineapple. I did have a craving for some pineapple, which I bought one and ate it. But otherwise, no, not really having any cravings. I have less appetite written down. A week or so back, I did kind of lose my appetite. I really wasn't feeling like eating much, and I was kind of making myself eat, like wake up and have a banana and make myself have lunch and stuff like that because I just didn't have an appetite. But that's completely changed as of at least today. Now, I've been getting hungrier again for the past week or so, where I just get like these intense hungers and I just want to eat all day. And those have been kind of hard for me to control. I feel like I've done a fairly good job in just making sure the food that's in the house is like fruits and vegetables. So when I feel like I just have to go eat everything, it's going to be something healthy. As for feeling movement, I have started feeling stronger movements other than like the rolling sensation I was getting. I would always hear people ask if I felt the movements and if it felt like butterflies or flutters, and I wasn't understanding that because that's not how it felt for me. But I did end up having really intense feeling right on like the front part of my stomach, and it seriously did feel like flutters, like somebody was just in there like fluttering around on my stomach. It was like the weirdest and coolest feeling at the same time, but it was kind of freaky. But I liked it. It was freaky in a good way. But I've only had that feeling again one other time. Everything else has just been like a rolling sensation is the best way that I can describe that. So let's talk about headaches. I have been getting horrible headaches for the past couple of weeks. Now, today has been pretty good, and so was yesterday, but Oh my goodness. I'm not one to suffer from migraines on a regular basis, but these headaches were insane and so incredibly intense. I would have to go lay down. I did ask my doctor about it. She said they're perfectly normal during this time in pregnancy. She said there's a good chance I was even suffering from them during my first trimester and just didn't realize it because of all the other things going on with like morning sickness and stuff, which I wasn't suffering from headaches. I know I wasn't. But the past few weeks, I've just had horribly intense headaches. And I don't think it's from dehydration because I drank a lot of water and a lot of Gatorade. And my pee is clear. TMI, but it is. And I'm pretty sure that when your pee is clear, it means you're pretty well hydrated. So I don't think that's the problem, but I did ask her about it. She said it's really common during the stage of pregnancy, during your second trimester, to have really bad headaches. And she said that that should ease up as I go into my third trimester, and that thankfully it's not something that'll stick around after pregnancy. But that's just one of those things that like nobody ever talks about. I never heard about that from anybody else during pregnancy, but I've had insane headaches, and I have a friend currently who's pregnant and she's having the same thing. But apparently it's just kind of normal and comes with the territory. So cramps, I have had a few bouts of cramping and it's horrible. It's like the most intense menstrual cramping. It hasn't lasted long, and I have talked to my doctor about it, and she said, you know, being pregnant, things are constantly changing, and it's one of those things that's like dealing with a new body every day. You can move this way yesterday and you're fine, but if you move this way today, you might have problems. And the other night when I got like the worst cramps I'd had so far during pregnancy, which I haven't had a whole lot of them, but I have had a couple occasional cramping episodes. It was just all through the left side of my abdomen, down towards my pelvic region, on the left side. It was horrible. It was taking my breath away. I could hardly move. I think it kind of scared my husband a little bit. He was like, what do we need to do? Do we need to go to the hospital? Do we need to go to the doctor? It only all lasted like maybe 5 minutes and it was gone, but it hurt so bad. Like, oh, that was rough. That was not fun. So another thing worth mentioning that I didn't realize would be such an issue is dealing with nighttime hunger. It's just, oh, man, let me tell you what. I try to keep myself on a fairly rigid eating schedule, and I mentioned in a vlog I did earlier today that I need to do a whole video on being plus size, trying to lose weight for health reasons, and overhauling my eating habits to eat healthier. And by doing that before getting pregnant, I really had myself on a fairly rigid-ish eating schedule, obviously breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I guess it wasn't so much as a schedule other than I don't want to eat past about 6 or 7 at night because I don't like the idea of food just sitting on my stomach. I like to eat and give myself enough time for some things to get digested. So I don't snack at night. I've never really been one to snack at night anyways, but I like for sure, like if it's past 8 o'clock, like if it's 8 or later, I'm not eating even if I'm hungry. And I'm carrying that through pregnancy as well because I don't want to pack on the pounds during my pregnancy. I'm already a bigger person, and I really don't want to do that. So anyways, I've had a few nights where I wake up and I am just starving. I woke up so hungry the other night, and it correlated with a dream, which I'll tell you here in a minute. But I woke up so hungry that I had to get out of bed and go sit on the couch. I watched YouTube for like an hour and just drank 2 or 3 bottles of water trying to fill up my stomach to make myself not feel so hungry. But I felt like I was starving. But there's no part of me that wants to eat in the middle of the night and have food sit on my stomach. I've always heard that's bad to do. I've always heard that your food is more likely to turn to fat because you're not going to burn it off. All these other things. So I just avoid eating at night and I'll go hungry, which isn't fun, but again, I don't really want it sitting on my stomach. So that's something I've been dealing with, nighttime hunger. It's not an every night thing, but it does happen, and when it happens, it's like super intense. So I've had a couple of silly dreams happen since getting pregnant. The one that correlated with the waking up in the middle of the night super hungry, for whatever reason, I had a Barker's BK tenderloin, which they have the best tenderloins. And I was coming from the south end of town, which makes no sense because Barker's is on the north end of town. But in my dream, I was driving from the south end of town towards home, which we live on the north end. We were coming from the north end of town. Sorry, I was coming from the south end of town to the north end of town to go home. And I was eating a tenderloin from Barker's. And I just got this thought in my head that, ooh, I want to see if Mike wants to go get another tenderloin because I'm really hungry. But I'm eating a tenderloin and I don't want him to know that I'm eating a tenderloin. And literally it was like 3 or 4 bites left of the sandwich. So I decided to throw the sandwich out the window so that Mike doesn't know I was eating a tenderloin. And then ask him if he wants to go get a tenderloin. Didn't make a lot of sense, but I woke up after that dream starving. I was so incredibly hungry. Another dream that I had that I thought was pretty funny, and this happened a while ago, which I was planning on doing a whole video on the dreams I've been having, but sorry, I like knocked off this little flower off my nail and I'm like trying to get it back on. Ugh. Okay, so I don't think these are gonna last very long. But anyways, I had a dream that I was at a park. I think it was a park. It's been a while since I've had this dream. It might have been in my backyard. I really don't remember, but I came across this squirrel that was so tiny. It was starving. It had like ribs. It was like an old squirrel too. It wasn't like a younger squirrel. It was like an old squirrel. And it was so skinny. You could tell it was starving. I felt bad for it and I decided to try to feed it a carrot. But as I got closer, it like confused my big toe with a carrot and bit my big toe and like got stuck on my toe. And it woke me up because in my dream it hurt so bad. And when I woke up, I didn't have any pain, but I had the sensation of something being on my toe, which there's nothing there, nothing bit me, you know. Our animals don't sleep in the room with us, but it just freaked me out. I was like, what the heck? It was like the weirdest dream ever. One last thing, I guess, to talk about, and then I'll go ahead and do belly shots. Okay, so another thing that happened most recently was just me being overly emotional, which happens during pregnancy, but it's kind of a funny story. So, and I'll insert a picture of what I'm talking about because if I saw the photo, I'll insert a picture of what I'm talking about. So, my husband and I went to the AT&T store so he could get an upgrade on his cell phone. He was due for a new phone. And we're sitting at the AT&T store waiting to be next in line to be helped. And there's like these big windows, you can look outside, and the AT&T store, like we have a giant like inside mall, and then across the parking lot from that there's like a strip mall, which the AT&T store is in the strip mall. Well, way on the other side of the actual mall there's a Target. That's where our Target's at. Well, I'm sitting there at the AT&T store and I look across the parking lot and there's a Target cart by itself, and it's kind of like sloping down towards a ditch. It's like a really big ditch and it's not really in the ditch yet, but it's like kind of going that direction. And I just had this overwhelming sense of feeling sad. That cart, lonely little Target cart, made me feel so sad that I started having tears rolling down my face. And I told my husband, and thank God for him because he made me laugh. If it hadn't been for him, I would have turned into a sobbing mess. Like I literally was like wiping tears away already because that lonely little stupid Target cart made me feel so sad. It's probably the dumbest thing I have ever cried about in my entire life, but it just made me feel sad. It was all alone and by itself and in a ditch. Oh, pregnancy hormones, let me tell you what, that was just, it's funny. It's a funny story worth telling, but it was stupid. Yeah, so that kind of wraps things up. As for weight gain, it's kind of hard to tell. Last time I stepped on my scale here at the house, it said I was up to 280, which my starting weight was 265, but that's kind of hard to say that was my starting weight. That was like, for like a couple of days before getting on the scale, I would have to eat nothing but salads, drink nothing but water, and like salad and fruit was all I could eat. And I really have to get some good bowel movements going, and then I could get myself down to 265. But if I ate any like substantial amount of food, my weight was about 270. So if you're going off of 270, I've gained 10 pounds so far during pregnancy. If you're going off 265, I've gained 15 pounds. So it's kind of hard to tell, but it's somewhere in that area. But I'll go ahead and show you guys my belly, and it'll kind of wrap things up for today. So wearing the same outfit I've kind of been living in, but I definitely feel like I've kind of started to pop and getting a nice little rounded belly on me. So, front, I do have a stain in my shirt. I was bleaching my whites and I used this stuff called like, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like a bluing mixture that you're putting with your whites to get them whiter, but you have to dilute it first, and I didn't think about it and I just poured it in and it got on some of my white clothes and stained them, so I need to pour bleach on these and get them back, get the stains out. So that wraps up my pregnancy update for 21 weeks. Pretty crazy, pretty exciting. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.